man. Good to see you. Doing all right? Yeah. I think I've seen you since I
That was the religious thing. I didn't get to see it. So I was saying, Lisa, you guys have just one more debate.
We would have had them before if he'd shown up.
Okay, Adam's going to take some questions in a few minutes. We're just waiting for him to get mic'd up.
But yeah, just one more debate. In Jacksonville. But I think they're doing agreements with all local stations to broadcast. It didn't get very good reviews. It was pretty bad. It was basically like...
Good, I'm Frankie.
Frankie, how are you, buddy?
Good.
Thanks for being here, man. Good to see you.
On the campaign trail.
Not too close, right?
Oh, yeah, one step back. Just make sure that's on, Adam.
Okay, we're just waiting for him to get mic'd up with SNN, and then we'll be on the roll. Get a nice shot of his backside.
Facebook Live and it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah. My 90,000 people are like, get your back out of the view.
What's that?
You got too much ambient noise?
No, we're good.
You good?
I'm good. If I could ask a favor, just talk a little loud.
Yeah. You got it?
Yeah, just
4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah, just try not to put your arm on the antenna. It's a little sensitive. That's all.
Let me move it.
Put it in the back. Sorry.
Anything else I can do for you guys?
No, I'm not sharing my audio. Perfect.
All right, now we're good to go. You good to go with this?
Yep, I'm good to go.
This volume? All right.
Yep, I'm good to go.
All right. You go first.
Okay, Adam, so obviously we got a tough opponent in DeSantis, and he was endorsed by radio host commentator Mark Levin. What makes you different from DeSantis?
I'm running a Florida First campaign. That's very different than a Washington-centric campaign. I know Florida best. I've put Florida first. I've been endorsed by 46 of Florida's 66 elected sheriffs, plus first responders in the police departments and firefighters. I've been endorsed by Florida home builders, Florida contractors, Florida farmers. At the end of the day, this is a Florida governor's race, and it's about who has the right vision and the right values to make Florida stronger and better.
Trump is supposed to be here next week. Can you talk about the Trump factor in this race? It seems to have had a pretty significant impact on DeSantis and boosting his campaign.
Well, I support the president's agenda. I support President Trump's improvements to our economy, the fact that businesses are growing, our GDP is growing, and I believe that, that my campaign, with grassroots support, just like you've seen here today and like you've seen throughout the state, is going to prevail. The voters here supported President Trump, and they support Adam Putnam. They support me to be the next governor of Florida.
You mentioned that DeSantis wasn't up in D.C. for this ICE vote, sort of saying that he's, not doing his job. Some people have criticized you over these background check issues and whether or not you've been on top of that. What do you think? What is your response to that?
Well, look, we've been very upfront and transparent about this. The media blew most of it out of proportion. They said that background checks did not occur. That's just flat not true. And when we discovered a problem, we investigated it, got to the bottom of it, and held people accountable. I will continue to hold people accountable as necessary when problems arise. That's what leaders do. When you're in the executive branch of government, when you're managing an agency, when you're running a small business, you understand what leadership looks like, and that's exactly what we've done.
Adam, what's first on your agenda if you get elected governor?
I'm focused on putting vocational and technical education back into our schools. A generation ago, the academic elites stripped it out of our middle schools, took it out of our high schools, and our VOTECs and our community colleges have been treated like second-class citizens ever since. If we want to rebuild the middle class, if we want to be a nation that builds things, grows things, creates things, innovates, we have to have those types of skills for us to attract those kind of jobs and grow those jobs here in Florida. I'm a product of vocational education, having come through the ag program, but it's not just agriculture and construction. It's financial services, it's software, it's healthcare, it's marine and aviation. All of those are good paying jobs that don't require student loan debt and don't require a university degree.
DeSantis has really hammered you for being supported by some of these sugar companies. Do you feel like you bear any responsibility for not pushing ag to clean up more and try and prevent some of these fertilizer and nutrient runoff that is contributing to these toxic algae blooms?
Ron DeSantis doesn't have support from the state of Florida. I mean, barely half of his contributions are from within our state. Who cares more about Florida than the people in this room? Farmers, utility linemen, insurance agents, community bankers. That's who's supporting my campaign. And that's who I am going to fight for every day as governor. As you know, my entire public service has revolved around our natural resources, protecting and growing our water supply, cleaning up our water, not just in the Everglades and Lake Okeechobee, but also Apalachicola Bay, the St. Johns River, our springs and our lakes. We've supported Mote Marine's research to determine where algal blooms, where red tides occur, why they occur, and how we can anticipate them and treat them and prevent them in the future. That's a Florida First agenda. Everything else is just lip service in a campaign year.
So what do you have to say to a lot of the businesses and everyone that's worried about the tourism? Like here in Venice, ever since Okeechobee started the flow back on Friday, it's gotten horrible with the red tide. What do you say to them?
First of all, I'm proud and glad that Governor Scott has declared the state of emergency and are assessing the damages that these businessmen and women are suffering. The Corps of Engineers must be held accountable to stop these releases, fix the dike around Lake Okeechobee, raise the lake levels, and reduce these harmful releases. We also need to finish projects that were begun 2 decades ago. Reservoirs east and west of Lake Okeechobee, the C-43, the C-44, that land was purchased when Jeb Bush was governor. Why hasn't it been completed? We need to complete the southern reservoir south of the lake, and we need more storage north of the lake. As Commissioner of Agriculture, I have purchased the development rights on 40,000 acres of land in Florida to conserve that. We've expanded the water farming opportunities to store that water so that it doesn't get discharged east and west of the lake. I'm focused on clean water, protecting our tourism. Water is Florida's golden goose. It's key to tourism, key to growth, and key to protecting the things that make Florida, Florida.
One more question.
As you mentioned, absentee ballots are already going out. They go out in a bigger batch next week. This is really crunch time. DeSantis is surging a little bit. What are you doing? How do you see this race playing out over the next few weeks? And what do you think is going to be the secret here to trying to close this out?
What we're entering into is a more intense version of what I've been doing all along. Grassroots, grassroots, grassroots. Meeting with people, hearing their concerns, answering their questions, allowing them to understand my vision and my specific agenda for Florida. These aren't bumper sticker slogans. These are real solutions. You have to be present to win. You need to know Florida and put Florida first. And you can't do that from a Washington, D.C. TV studio. You can't do that if you're undermining our commitment to seniors. You can't do that if you're missing votes that are your job. This is all about putting Florida first. That's what the next governor has to do.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.